not thrilled with having me here. Gorgeous day on the ranch. First week. There's Ruger. There's Remy. I don't know where Suzy 2 is. So, howdy folks. Desert Horizons, AZ Off-Grid Unplugged Cabin Ranch. I believe it's the first week of September. I think it's like the 5th or 6th, something like that. Figured it was time to do an update. Show you what's going on around here. Cactus is growing well. There's another bird watering station I put in. Birds seem to love it. Still got that one there, which is just about ready to collapse. So when it does, I'll put another setup like that there. And of course you can see the ants just love to tear all the leaves off the ocotillo. They already did all of them on that one. Almost all of them on that one. Then they're going to start on that one. And then that one and that one. And here's the bird of paradise. It was blooming real good. So I thought, well, hell, it's big enough. So I took the cage off of it. Next day, almost all of them were eaten off or whatever. So I don't know, something just does not like them there unless I got that cage around it. So that's why it's still there. Let's see. I had to get a new rocking chair. The old one sat in it, started falling apart from the fabric getting beat up by the sun. And there's my Remy. She's doing well. She's doing very well, aren't you, puppy? You're such a good puppy. Yeah. Such a good Remy. Yeah. Okay. I got my solar lights out there getting charged up for the night that I put around in the engine compartment of the Jeep to keep the pack rats off of it. This is a beautiful day here today. It's about 8:30 in the morning. I don't know what the temperature is. I think it's about 85 degrees. I don't know. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Here's the solar panels. Doing very well. It says 2,560 watts there. I paid like 680 bucks for them, something like that. I don't remember exactly. And still got the batteries. They're working great. Right about 50% now. The reason I got that cover over it is because that's where the puppies like to lay. And one morning, I woke up, and it hadn't been very long, but somehow or another the circuit breaker got tripped on the bottom one. So when I reset that and got them charged back up, they've been working beautiful ever since. But I put that cover over there to make sure that the, like I said, the puppies don't bother it. And there's the EG4 Yellowbird, whatever you want to call it. I put some air filters on the intake sides on it because the filters are on it. This thing sucks a lot of air, and I mean it's running 24 hours a day, and those filters would get plugged up about once a week, so I'd have to unscrew it, and I was always worried I was going to lose the screws, so I put these the cheapy crap air filters over it. Now it's like once a week, twice a week I pull the filters down, and that's much easier. And it's been 6 months since I've had to clean the onboard filters, so it's working great. Loving this thing. You can see it's right about 50%. It was hot yesterday, so the air conditioners were running. And here's the cabin. Got one of those range extenders for the Wi-Fi, useless for my setup here. No matter where I pointed, it didn't make any difference. Let's see. And people keep writing to ask what's going on around here. It's like, well, you got to watch the old videos because nothing's changed. I've had no major projects or anything. I did put some water filters in there and built a little doghouse around it to keep it from freezing, and then put up some shade for the propane tanks. Um, this is going to be a quick PSA, public service announcement, for those of you that use Berkey water filters. Back in 2016, I was living in Tucson in a real house. I started having stomach issues. And about 4 months before that, I had bought my Berkey water filter. I hadn't used it yet. I didn't see Ruger there. Must be under the Jeep somewhere. About 4 months before that, I'd bought it and I hadn't used it yet. Well, when my stomach problem started, I woke up, first thing in the morning, I'd drink some water, and right away my stomach would feel like, I've tried to figure out since then, which in over 8 years now, how to describe this, and there's no way I can do it. Some days it feels like I got punched in the gut. Some days it feels like I got a million bees in there just doing their little swarming around and moving around, and other days it feels like so bloated. It's just weird. I have a bad stomach. I don't know what's going on. So I hooked up the Berkey water filter to see if that was what the problem was the water. No change at all. So it's like, well, it's not the water. So I changed my diet. I changed everything, and nothing helped. Nothing. I moved out here and got the water, which is basically the same source, but from a different setup, put out here, and nothing changed. My stomach, I've had this problem since, like I said, it was early in 2016. So I got tired of it. So just last year, I think it was like October, I said, screw this, I'm not going to do this anymore. I got up in the morning, I said, I'm going to start having to figure out something else. So instead of drinking water first thing in the morning and a cup of coffee made from that water, I drank a can of soda. And lo and behold, my stomach felt great. And like I said, this was after 8 years of trying to find out what the problem was, what it was I was eating, what it was I was doing that was causing my stomach to give me so much fits. And that day it felt great. So it's like, well, some of the bit. So the next day I had a can of soda for breakfast, and the same thing. My stomach felt great. I didn't have any problems. So it's like, so on the third day I went back to drinking the water again out of the Berkey water filter. I got a zero water filter in during that time, and took the water out of there, out of the Berkey, and put it through the zero, and it helped a little bit, not enough. And I'd been to the doctors for this, trying to find out. They scoped me up one side, down the other, looking for whatever the problem was. All sorts of tests, trying to find out, and nothing helped. Nothing. They couldn't find out anything. The last thing I did was a SIBO test, which was a disgusting thing. It took about 8 hours. I had to sit in the office and do something every 15 minutes or so. I don't remember. Anyway, I said, screw it. So I got myself a reverse osmosis countertop system with UV filter in it. And there's the uh, reverse osmosis countertop with UV filter that I have on my counter. It's about 250 bucks, something like that. Been well worth it. I've already replaced the filters in it once. It's supposed to last quite a long time, or 6 months. But I do it about every 2 months. It's worth it to keep my stomach from bothering me. And I put, well, it's an RV setup underneath that box there to filter the water first before it goes into the house, and then it goes through the reverse osmosis system and the UV water filter, and then I put it through the zero filter, and it's great, have no problem. But the main thing I wanted to talk about the Berkey was when I got the zero water filter, it came with a parts per million water meter reader. It doesn't tell you what the parts per million are, just how many there are. Well, out of the, and here's the weird thing, of course, out of the zero water filter, it was zero, which is where it's supposed to be. Out of bottled water, it was between 13 and 25, depending on which bottled water it was. Uh, out of the faucet, it was two. This is the weird part here. Out of the faucet, directly out of the faucet, it was 241. Out of the Berkey, it was 276. So whatever it was the Berkey was doing, it was putting in more parts per million of contaminants than what was going in, and I couldn't figure it out. So it had been quite a few years since I changed out the filters. Nowhere near 3,000 gallons, but it's still been quite a few years. So I took it apart, washed it down, put new filters in, ran several gallons through it, and then I started testing it again. And it was so close to the same numbers it blew my mind. It was, again, about 238 out of the faucet and 270 something out of the Berkey. So, I don't know what was causing it, but I gave it up. I put that thing away. It's now in the RV. I'm never going to use that again because it never helped. And that's what the problem was all those years, was the water. And Berkey wasn't helping at all. Okay, so that's enough on that. So, I mean, if you want to use it, that's fine. Go for it. I'm going to save mine for an emergency. If all I ever have to drink is pond water, it'll go through the Berkey before it goes through any of my other filters. But that countertop reverse osmosis has been a blessing, let me tell you. Anyway, a couple days ago, I was sitting inside the cabin. It was hot that day. The puppies were inside there with me, and I saw a huge gust of wind blow by. Didn't pay much attention to it because, I mean, it didn't rock the cabin. I'd had them rock the cabin before, and no problem. The next morning, I came over here by the RV, and that awning has been like that for a long time. But I don't know if you noticed the posts there, especially the right one. It's leaning a little bit, and so is the left one. And there's the awning up there. Now this is supposed to be just a temporary setup that I put up there to give me a little shade. I never got around to taking it down, this part anyway. But, and here's my old rocking chairs. Got these in 2016, I think. This one's all ripped down here where you sit, so you sink down. And this one, the back's all ripped. That's the one I've been using for on the patio. Anyway, I came around here, and first thing I saw was there was a post missing that's supposed to be right there. First thing I saw actually was the planter knocked over. And here's my awning. The whole entire thing. I had 8 legs holding, I had 6 on there and 2 on that side. I had 8 legs holding that thing up. 6 of them broke off at the base. I mean, I know why, because there were termites or whatever munching at the bottom of them. But this thing is heavy as crap. I tried to move it, not been able to budge it an inch. But the weird thing is none of these boards have cracked. This one cracked right up here quite a few years ago, and I put a brace in there, and it held, didn't fall apart. That one hasn't cracked. I said I'm going to get up there and take those top panels off one of these days. Looks like that one cracked up there too. So it was a hellacious wind. The only one that didn't break was that leg there and the one on the other side. That one cracked That far one there cracked about halfway up. It's actually cracked right there. And these two you can see came off of the base. One was in there, and the other one was right here. And looks like this one landed about where that leg was originally. So, but that'll give you an idea how windy it gets around here. I'm just my only concern about this is now what am I going to do for water catchment for that tank? So it kind of sucks because now no water is going to go in there. Gorgeous weather out here. Where's Ruger? Remy, where's Ruger? I heard lots of people say it was hot this summer. Like I never really noticed it. I got a new air conditioner this spring. Got an 8,000 BTU. That and the 6,000 have been keeping it great. Usually I use just the 8,000, and that seems to keep it cool. Every once in a while I got to turn on both of them. Yesterday I had both of them on for about half an hour maybe. Everything's been going great. Got 1,000 gallons of water earlier this spring. So I haven't done that yet. There's my Ruger under the Jeep. And if you're observant, you'll notice that Suzy isn't around anymore. I met a woman in Tucson about a year and almost 2 years ago now, and we decided to go out. And about a week before the date, her puppy died. Her dog died. So over the course of the next few months, I decided to give Suzy to her because I thought Suzy's dad, the dog that I thought was Suzy's dad, was hanging around a lot more. Well, he's still hanging around. I call him Suzy 2. He comes over and eats most days, at least once a day. A lot of mornings I wake up and he's sleeping outside. He's out here playing with the puppies, but he's not my dog. I don't know what he does most of the days, most of the nights, whatever, but you know, he lets me love on him. The puppies seem to accept him, but you know. This is just an absolute beautiful day here today. I'll see if I can get a picture of the camera shy Ruger, which is so unusual. Out there. I'll get his backside. Okay. He's under there. See, there he is. There's my Ruger. Hey, puppy. Hey, Ruger. How you doing? They want you to say hi. Okay. That's it? That's all we get? Okay. All right. Killed a couple pack rats. Remy's got a couple more. Haven't seen very many snakes this year. I think I've dispatched maybe 2, maybe 3. A couple of them didn't have any rattlers on the end, so it's like you just keep sticking around eating all the rodents. Not really, like I said, nothing's really changed, nothing's really happening, nothing really worthwhile making a video about every week. Yeah. But I love my new glider rocker chair. It's only $88 at Home Depot. And they delivered it free, so I mean you can't argue about that. So Can't think of anything else worth mentioning. All right, you guys take care, have fun, enjoy, and happy trails.